Mariners, once again, cannot get past the Houston Astros.
Let me make this abundantly clear. The Mariners are going to be really good.
We're a really good team. We're not going anywhere.
Can the Seattle Mariners catch the Houston Astros? The Astros have obviously been the juggernaut in the American League, making it to at least the AL Championship Series, if not the World Series, multiple times over the past 5 or 6 years. You guys don't need me to tell you anything about the Astros. We know them, we're not huge fans of them, and they're not huge fans of the Mariners either. And while it doesn't seem like the AL West is going to be a 2-horse race like it's been the past couple of years, the idea of catching the Astros is something that Mariners fans really dream on. But the problem is the Astros are just so damn good. After winning 106 games last year, 16 more games than the Mariners, the Astros really only lost a player named Justin Verlander. Maybe you've heard of him. They added Jose Abreu, and they have more players coming through the ranks. Framber Valdez, I would say, is now the de facto ace for them, which, yeah, not a bad guy to have as your ace. And the Mariners in 2023, it'll be interesting to see if they did enough to catch the Astros. I would personally say it's a long shot, but don't tell that to the Mariners. Don't tell that to the front office. Don't tell it to Scott or Jerry or Justin Hollander. I know a lot of the fans feel that maybe the Mariners haven't done enough to catch the Astros, but here's how the Mariners front office feels.
I do feel like we got meaningfully better this offseason, and we are a deeper, a more complete team than we were at the end of last season.
Well, the last time I checked, we played them 3 really good games. We're probably one swing of the bat away from winning all 3 of those games. They go on to win the World Series. They're a really good team, and they're not going anywhere. We're a really good team. We're not going anywhere. 2023, it's on. Let's go.
So just playing the numbers game here, the Mariners were 16 games behind the Houston Astros at the end of 2022. Of course, they met in the American League Division Series, and the Astros subsequently swept the Mariners. But they were close games, so at least we have that to hang our hat on. Of course, the Astros went on to win the World Series and were definitely the best team in the postseason in 2022. I don't think anybody could argue that. So for the Mariners, with the additions of Teoscar Hernandez, Kolten Wong, and AJ Pollock, the departures of a player like Mitch Haniger, Matthew Boyd, so on and so forth, is the roster better now than it was at the end of 2022? Absolutely. I know that people are saying that Teoscar Hernandez is just a lateral move from Mitch Haniger, but that really isn't the case. Teoscar Hernandez was so much better than Mitch Haniger in 2022, it's kind of not even close. In 2022, Mitch played in just 57 games. He got 247 plate appearances. He hit 246, 308, 429 with a 114 OPS plus. Mitch hit 11 home runs for the Mariners and 34 RBI. Teo had a down year for his standards. He still hit 267, 316, 491 with a 127 OPS plus while hitting 25 home runs and 77 RBI in 131 games. Teo was hurt in 2022, but overall, he's always been very consistent in his play. So it's easy to say that, yeah, the Mariners got better in the outfield. Of course, also having AJ Pollock to platoon with Jarred Kelenic in left field has a really good chance to show out a little bit better than Jesse Winker did in 2022. And an upgrade over Adam Frazier wasn't gonna be that tough because he was also abysmal. Left field and second base were the 2 worst positions for the Mariners in 2022, and there are definitely new players in those spots. Of course, these players have a chance to struggle. Of course, there's no guarantee that they're going to be any better than the players that they're replacing, but I'd say there's a decent chance. So yes, the Mariners did get better in 2023. I don't think there's a question about that. But honestly, in my opinion, I think the Astros did too. Losing the AL Cy Young winner, yeah, that's gotta sting a little bit. But when you can replace him with Framber Valdez and move a few guys up in your rotation, like Christian Javier, Luis Garcia, Lance McCullers, so on and so forth, I mean, it's just so hard, right? As Mariners fans, we thought somebody like Carlos Correa leaving was gonna have such a big impact on the Astros, and then they just go out and get Jeremy Pena. We thought to ourselves, oh man, they lost George Springer, but then in the outfield, they still have Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker, and don't sleep on Chas McCormick either. The Astros are a juggernaut. But for the Mariners, one thing that they have on their side is the way the schedule works this year. You now play every single team in the MLB. You're not stuck to playing teams in your division 19 times anymore. So the Mariners no longer have to face the Astros 19 times. That means the Mariners get to go play teams like the Nationals more. They get to go play other NL teams that they don't see as often, a lot more than they have been before. Of course, the flip side of this is now they have to play like the Dodgers, and the Mets a little bit more as well. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, but the Astros also have to play those teams. So is there a chance that the Mariners, because of this, now find a way to make up some ground they had on the Astros before? Yeah, I'd say there's a decent chance. The Mariners showed last year that they were probably the second best team in the American League. They beat the Yankees around quite a bit. Of course, they beat the Blue Jays as well. And honestly, I think the only American League team that was going to beat them in the playoffs was the Astros. But having that team ahead of you in your division makes it always so hard to just say, hey, we're going to lock up this division. You look at a division such as the AL Central, or even the NL Central for that matter, it's like, okay, if the Mariners were in that division, they would run it every single year. But unfortunately, they're not. So getting back to the original question, can the Mariners catch the Houston Astros? Well, I would say they have a much better chance this year than they did last year. I'm not saying they're going to catch them. The Astros are that good. But I think they have a much better chance with a full year of Luis Castillo. You have better players around Julio than you did last year. And maybe, just maybe, some things go the Mariners' way instead of the Astros' way for once. This is obviously going to be the most talked about rivalry for the Mariners in 2023, and I can't wait for that to happen. We actually had a video a while back breaking down the rosters at each position. I want you guys to check that one out. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.